Boxing truth here. I feel like talking about Jeff Horn and how the plan is being set up for his near future in case a Manny Pacquiao rematch doesn't happen. Jeff Horn is now a star. Winning that type of fight in front of 5 million viewers can really change your life, and it's changed the life of Jeff Horn. Getting all these media obligations, media commitments, being on the ESPYs, Bob Arum taking him under his wing. This is what happens when you beat one of the big stars in the game and a future Hall of Famer and a legend in the sport like Manny Pacquiao. It really does wonders for your career. It only helps when the fight was a really good fight. So now Jeff Horn is another player in the welterweight division, considered the number one welterweight, at least according to BoxRec. I mean, why wouldn't he be? Even though I don't feel he defeated Manny Pacquiao, he did give him the most competitive fight in quite some time. People will point out to Pacquiao aging, slowing down, not what he once was, shit like that. But you got to remember, Pacquiao was coming off two brilliant performances in 2016 against top welterweights. Not as big or strong or powerful as Jeff Horn, but still top welterweights in the division. And he handled those guys easily, and Tim Bradley and Jesse Vargas. In my opinion, they want to combine 3 rounds against Manny Pacquiao. And Jeff Horn, he won at least 4, maybe even won 5 rounds. And now he's in great position where he can get the rematch back on similar territory in Australia where the fight makes a lot of sense. A lot of revenue streams to consider for Pacquiao to come back to Australia, since the fight may not do the same business in the United States. But I wanted to talk about Radio Raheem's interview with Bob Arum recently about Jeff Horn and how people are starting to wonder what's going on between Jeff Horn and Bob Arum. Is Jeff Horn now Bob Arum's new guy? Is he the guy that's pretty much number one at top rank? And has Terence Crawford been passed over? Is he now the guy just on the outside looking in, similar to the situation between Mayweather and De La Hoya, as De La Hoya was getting the favorable treatment and Mayweather was a guy on the outside wondering why he wasn't just as big a star. So now Jeff Horn's getting the limelight, he's getting the shine, he's getting all these media commitments, TMZ, going on ESPN, going on talk shows, being featured on the ESPYs. And Terence Crawford, he's got a fight coming up, not getting much press, not getting much attention because he's fighting some unknown African guy that he's heavily favored to beat. And that type of fight, even though it's for the undisputed championship at 140, is not going to propel him into the type of stardom or treatment that Jeff Horn is now getting, now that he's been awarded a victory over Manny Pacquiao. But Raheem was holding back laughter, was wondering about the relationship between Horn and Bob Arum. And he didn't really take the statements of Bob Arum seriously when he stated that Jeff Horn is the strongest welterweight in the world, and if he was in a phone booth fight, Bob Arum would pick Horn to beat any of those guys. And Raheem still is not, he's not a believer in Jeff Horn, still not convinced that he is a world-class fighter and a top welterweight and cannot be considered to be counted out. He cannot be counted out against any welterweight. He feels he's food for the other welterweights out there, even though those guys haven't even done what he's done. Even though he may not have defeated Pacquiao, what he did was more impressive than anything fucking Thurman's did. Even what Errol Spence did was impressive, but he did it against a guy coming off a damaging loss and was psychologically beaten going into that fight. He wasn't the best version. Kell Brook wasn't the best version that Errol Spence fought. Had he fought him prior to the Golovkin fight, it would have been a really, really even more impressive win. But he beat him coming off a damaging loss and was very weight drained for the fight. So, Horn is the guy to beat in the welterweight division. And Jeff Horn has a plan with Top Rank now. And Top Rank, if they can't get the rematch with Pacquiao, if he decides to go against it, they're going to match him with Terence Crawford. That will be the next fight. Big fight for Jeff Horn, since he's now a Top Rank fighter for the time being. And especially whatever happens after a series of fights that happens. If he beats Manny Pacquiao again, if he gets the Crawford fight. But Jeff Horn could possibly overpower Terence Crawford. I'm actually hoping that Manny Pacquiao turns down the rematch and just says, fuck Bob Arum, I'm going to go my own route. I'm not sure if he could do that, since Bob Arum has stated that he has Pacquiao on a promotional contract through mid-2018. And he believes a rematch is going to happen. But I really hope it doesn't happen for a couple of reasons. One, even though I felt Manny Pacquiao won the first fight, I'm not so sure he can do that again in a rematch. I'm not very sure he could beat Jeff Horn in a rematch, because Jeff Horn is only going to get better. The experience that he has under his belt, it's only going to make him a better fighter. He's a guy who's 29 years old. He's the guy that's only going to get better, and Manny Pacquiao, he's only going to get older. So it's going to be another tough fight for Pacquiao if he takes the rematch and goes back to Australia, where he possibly won't be able to knock him out. And it'll be another close competitive fight where Jeff Horn could get the nod once again. So another reason is because I want Jeff Horn to do me a favor. I want him to drop that overrated hype job, Terence Crawford. Crawford, if he does the business on August 19th, becomes undisputed champion, it's most likely he's going to be his last fight in the junior welterweight division. I mean, sure, the Mikey Garcia Broner winner is there, but most likely is not going to happen. The fight is not really big enough for it to be made. There's a political wall between those guys, so it's just not really a believable fight that's going to be made. So the bigger fight, or the more fight that makes more sense for Bob Arum at least, will be a fight between Terence Crawford and Jeff Horn. Say if Pacquiao doesn't take the rematch, or he beats Pacquiao in a rematch. And that is the natural fight. And Terence Crawford, that will be a fight where a lot of people won't be so confident that he just whoops, that he just runs over. Bob Arum is no longer confident that Crawford can move up in weight and beat this kid, because of the physical strength, the toughness and will to win that Jeff Horn brings, and also the skills that he has in the ring. Jeff Horn cannot be counted out against any welterweight. He's here to stay for a while. And I know the American media fanboys are going to think that Jeff Horn is just food and that he's going to be served up against Terence Crawford, but nah. That's not what I see. Even though Bob Arum is going to say that Jeff Horn is not his main guy, he's going to say this, he's going to say that Jeff Horn is not his favorite guy in his stable now. The reality is that Terence Crawford is going to be served up to Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn is the one with the win under his resume, a win that matters, a win that actually means something, that has changed his life. While Crawford has nothing under his belt, only cannon fodder and showcase opponents, mostly on HBO. Odongo is probably his best fight to date. And I feel Odongo has a chance, but I'm not so sure if he's going to get a fair shake or a level playing field fight, because he has to go to Nebraska in order to get it done, in order to become an undisputed champion. Terence Crawford will be given an opportunity to fight Horn, but Jeff Horn, I feel, just may be too strong for Terence Crawford. I mean, just look at this picture. This is Bob Arum's guy now. Bob Arum is a genius, let me tell you. Put this fight on ESPN for one reason, the Pacquiao-Horn fight, in order to rob Manny Pacquiao and create a new star. And he did it. 5 million people watched the fight. It was a good fight that Horn won. And now he's under Bob Arum's wing. Bob Arum is going to make sure that he's going to be promoting a number of Jeff Horn's fights, especially if he continues to win. And that Terence Crawford fight, man, I hope it happens sooner or later. And I hope Manny Pacquiao doesn't take the rematch, so I can see Jeff Horn whoop on Terence Bud Crawford. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.